Welcome, everyone. I'm Drew Smith for Spotlight on the Law. Coming up in today's news, I'll be talking with author and attorney David Handley of Dyer Law about the consumer advocate book that's written for Nebraska accident victims to help them avoid costly mistakes after an auto accident. Also, reporter Gail Hurd will be joining us, and she'll be talking with co-author and attorney Mike Dyer to bust myths about auto accidents and insurance companies. So stay right there because Spotlight on the Law starts right now. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Drew Smith. Spotlight on the Law is a program designed to sort of cut through all that legal jargon and really help the average consumer to understand their rights. We're talking today with David Handley of Dyer Law about what to do if you've been in an auto, motorcycle, or a truck accident. Now, David Handley is an attorney with Dyer Law. He's also the co-author of 7 Costly Mistakes That Nebraska Accident Victims Make and How to Avoid Making Them. David is a member of the Nebraska State Bar Association and the American Association for Justice. Dyer Law has offices in Lincoln and Omaha. And today you're going to learn those 7 costly mistakes that Nebraska accident victims make and how you can avoid making them. David, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about how you became a lawyer and why you wanted to become an attorney.
Well, you know, originally when I was in undergraduate studies, I was studying counseling. And I really did enjoy counseling. I liked a lot of aspects of it. But ultimately, I wanted to be more involved with people and in helping people, having more of a hands-on role. And ultimately, I decided to go into law. And as I found out, in the practice of law, it's a time where I get to help people when they need someone the most. And so I really enjoy it.
So having that empathy for others, it's an important element to what you do.
It absolutely is. And I'll tell you what, it's kind of ironic. I probably do more actual counseling as a lawyer.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, part of what you're doing in helping other people is you've co-authored this book, and it's titled 7 Costly Mistakes That Nebraska Accident Victims Make and How to Avoid Making Them. You wrote this with Mike Dyer,
yes,
with Dyer Law. You're a very busy attorney. You've got a lot of things going. Why write the book?
Right. Because you'll find out that that book is jam-packed with information that will help any person who's been in an accident in Nebraska.
You know what I love about the book? It's actually written for people like me, the non-legal people, just the regular citizen out there. So the average Nebraskan is going to be able to understand it. It's not legal jargon as we talked about.
Absolutely.
David, your book states that there are trends where hardworking Nebraskans are being taken advantage of. We don't like to think about that, but it's going on. You point it out in the book, and that sometimes insurance companies are taking advantage of hardworking citizens in the state of Nebraska. What's going on there?
I think of it a lot like a bully. I really do. The insurance companies, you know, they come into the situation where they've got this money and
a lot of money.
A lot of money. I mean, we're talking, it's a huge industry. Yeah. And they have this money, and quite frankly, they don't want to take that money from their pocket and give it to other people. The problem is, though, is from the crash victim's point of view. They've been in a crash. They've got medical bills that are mounting. Many of them haven't been to work for a number of weeks. They don't know where the next check's coming from. They don't know how they're going to pay for the electricity, how they're going to get all of their basic needs met, and they're looking for a way to get out of this situation now. And the insurance companies are sitting there like they've got all the time and all the money, and they're willing to watch you suffer.
So what happens then when someone is hurt, they're in a serious accident? Do you have to go to trial in this case? So what does the average person do?
You know, that's a great question, Drew. And quite frankly, it's a question we're asked all the time. And you are 100% exactly right. Nebraskans, for the most part, do not want to be involved in lawsuits. Generally speaking, they just want someone to take care of their bills, let them get back to work, maybe give them some compensation for the time that they've missed and some other losses. But they want to get on with life, and they want to forget that the thing ever even happened. And they don't enjoy the process at all.
What will the book do to allay some of those fears that someone might have about, well, maybe I should, still, really they can get a hold of this book and say, well, you know, this makes sense to me, and maybe I should hire an attorney.
Well, I'll tell you what the book specifically will do is it will help people not to make mistakes that'll cost them if they make those mistakes.
You know, here's what's interesting too. Let's give you an example, and I'll use an example that I had. I had the green arrow. I was going through an intersection. Woman coming the other way, ran a red light. Boom! Hits the side of my car, spins me around. You know, I'm okay. I'm not really hurt. All I want to do is I want to get my car fixed. I want to get back to work. You know, really don't want to have to go through the process. But do all people in all these cases need an attorney?
You know, I think this will surprise most people, but we even put in the book, Drew, not everyone needs an attorney for every single case that they have. You know, if someone's really not injured, and you're just talking like you, they just have a property damage type thing. You know what? We talk to people all the time on the phone and give them ideas and suggestions on how to do that portion of it. But as far as hiring an attorney, it's probably not necessary. And I'll tell you why that is. It's because when it comes down to property values, most of that stuff really is cut and dried.
What do you tell, David, people that are watching this program today and people that call into the office that are not sure if they need an attorney or not? So they're thinking, well, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. And what do you tell those people?
I tell them to call me. Really, because you know what, in that conversation that I have with them on the phone or that Mike has with them on the phone, we can find out and really pinpoint what part of their case or if their case is going to need an attorney. And sometimes they don't. And
they're getting a call back from you or Mike Dyer, an actual attorney in the firm, not someone who is not, doesn't have the expertise in legal affairs.
That's correct. Legal questions need an attorney to answer them. And it wouldn't be right to have someone who's not trained in the law contact a person with these serious questions and then give them an answer that may not be accurate. So yes, the attorneys in our firm call people back and answer their legal questions.
This great information. Stay right there because we got a lot more to come on this program. We're going to have to take a short break right now, and my conversation with attorney and author David Hanley of Dyer Law will continue. We're going to find out those 7 costly mistakes that Nebraska accident victims will make, and we're also going to hear from reporter Gail Hurd, who is busting auto accident and insurance company myths with attorney Mike Dyer. Stay right there. Spotlight in the Law continues right after this.
I've been injured, and I'm not sure which lawyer is right for me. How do I know I'm making the right choice?
We believe in client service so much that anytime during the first 30 days, if you're not completely satisfied with the quality of our work or our customer service, you can ask for your file back. No questions asked, and you'll owe us nothing. This is our 100% client service guarantee to you.
More questions? Call 1-888-DYER-LAW for a free consultation or click dyerlaw.com to learn more.
Put our team to work for you.
Welcome back to Spotlight on the Law. I'm your host, Drew Smith. Now, Spotlight on the Law is a program that really is designed to help the average American understand their rights. And today we're discussing the rights of those injured in an auto accident. We're talking with author and attorney David Hanley of Dyer Law. And David, the book that you co-authored with Mike Dyer, you talk about the 7 costly mistakes that auto accident victims make in Nebraska. Mistake number 1. Not taking immediate action at the accident site to ensure that your rights are preserved.
The first thing you really need to do is assess the situation. And obviously the first 2 things that are the most important are you hurt? I mean, are you feeling pain? If you are, you need to get medical attention. You know, believe it or not, there are some people that are embarrassed by going in an ambulance. And they would rather not get the immediate medical attention because of the embarrassment, which is kind of ironic. But the other thing is really is you need to be safe. I mean, if you're not feeling any pain immediately, you need to be concerned about your safety. So obviously getting out of the way of other traffic and those kind of things. But as long as those 2 things are in place, you're safe and you're not feeling like you need to go to the hospital right away, then you really need to start gathering information. The process of the claims process, you know, later on getting compensated, is all about controlling information and gathering information.
See, now let me ask you about that, because let's say you've been in a wreck. It could be a two-car accident or something, and maybe people aren't thinking really straight when that happens, and they're thinking, well, the police officer is coming, and this is the job of the police. They'll take care of everything, right?
Well, you know, the police have a very important role, obviously, in gathering information. But the police officers are not gathering that information so that later on down the road someday, when you're all done treating and you feel better, that their purpose isn't so you can get compensated. They're not concerned with that.
Okay.
But you, as the person who's just been hit, it's not your fault. You're hurt. You are the one who has the vested interest in making sure that later on you get your bills paid for, you get your car fixed, and you get paid for the losses that you have from the wreck.
So on a practical side, most of us are carrying a cell phone or some sort of a smartphone or something. So after the accident, you pull off the side of the road, or you get safe, as you mentioned. You got to be safe. Then you dial 911. Is that what you recommend?
Yes, well, you need to report your accident,
okay.
Absolutely, and the police need to be able to come from that. But
right.
you know what, you started on a really important point that I'd really like to talk with you about.
Sure.
And what that point is that almost everyone has these cell phones that have cameras or video capability.
Right.
And at that time, if you're safe and you're not hurt, that's an excellent time to use that piece of equipment to start gathering information.
Well, even me, I'm not some techie genius, but I've got a phone that I could take a 15 or 20-second video with my phone after the accident happens. And what you're saying is that's pretty much all you need.
It's helpful. It's helpful.
It's helpful, right.
Yeah, and I don't want people to rely just on the cell phones because, they're limited in their capabilities.
Sure.
But you know what? You're there. You're in the instant. If you have video, get a video of the area. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there are things that come up later on that you don't know about right there that's important about the area.
So that's mistake number 2 in the book, is talking about not really accurately documenting everything that happens after the accident. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's not just extended to just the photographs at the scene, but it also goes into time off work. You need to be able to keep track of the days that you've missed work because you can't work.
Let's move on to mistake number 3 in the book, and you just talked about it. Not seeing your doctor or cooperating completely with your medical provider is costly mistake number 3. So you say that someone really should see his or her doctor immediately after the accident, even if you don't feel pain. So using my example from earlier, I was in this car accident. I didn't feel pain. Mm-hmm. I really wasn't injured. I didn't think I needed to go to the doctor, and I didn't. That was probably a mistake.
Well, very possibly. And I know it sounds odd, someone telling you to go to the doctor even if you don't feel pain right away. I can almost always tell you with some pretty good assuredness, the next day, within 24 or 48 hours, you're going to feel worse.
I was too. I felt, yeah, you're right. So that is mistake number 3. People need to do that.
Absolutely. Go see your doctor, okay? It may be that you're fine and that's all right, but sometimes the doctor can start some preventative things to help you so you feel okay the next day.
Okay, very good. Right now we're going to go over to reporter Gail Hurd. She's standing by with co-author and attorney Mike Dyer of Dyer Law. Gail?
Thank you, Drew. As you said, I'm here with co-author and attorney Mike Dyer, and we're looking to bust some of the myths about auto accidents and insurance companies that may not always be on your side. Well, Mike, Nebraskans are known for being no-nonsense, hard-working people. If they write the insurance company and they're reasonable, will they get a fair proposal and avoid the fuss of a lawsuit? Is that a myth or a fact?
That's a myth. Insurance companies are in business to make a profit. They have highly trained insurance adjusters whose job it is to save the insurance company money. So if you ask them for a certain amount that you think is fair and they don't come anywhere near that number, you've negotiated with them. And you've lost any opportunity at that point to do much more than to go to trial or to settle for what they're offering.
That's true. Well, insurance companies are quick to call to get a recorded statement after an accident. You must give a statement to the insurance company or they won't settle with you. Fact or myth?
That's a myth. It's absolutely false. There's no law that requires that you have to do a recorded statement. In fact, what you say can be used against you. So when you do a recorded statement, they're going to be asking you questions that are going to be helpful to them and hurtful to you. If you're in pain medication, and you're not as clear-headed, the questions that you're asked are going to be used later on, the answers that you give are going to be used later on against you.